When trying to look for the pattern in tables, I look for the entries that have the input and the output. And in the pattern, I'm trying to figure out, it's like a function machine. What did I do to my input to get my output? So I start with this 2 and 8 in the second row there. And 2 times 4 is 8. So right now, I think that the machine maybe what's being done to 2 is it's being multiplied by 4. But then I go to the next one and it's like -2 times 4 is not -4. So that can't be right. So I'm going to skip this one just because there's negatives in it. And I'm going to try this 8 one and figure out, well, what else could I do? So I could do 8 times 3, which is 24, plus 2 is 26. Well, let's see if that works. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Oh, that seems to work for both those. And then I'm going to try it here. Well, -2 times 3 is -6, plus 2 is -4. So what's the rule? Well, the rule is multiply x by 3, then add 2. And that seems to work for all of them. So if I do that in here, well, I'll start with this one. 0 times 3 is 0 plus 2. So my output would be 2. 1.5 times 3 is 4.5. And then when I add 2, that's going to be 6.5. And then when I go over to here, now I got to go backwards. So first I'm going to subtract 2. So that's 300 because I added 2. I'm going to subtract 2. And then, well, I had to multiply by 100. So undoing multiplying, I divide by 100. So I think it's going to be 100, but I'm going to try it. So if I multiply 100 by 3, I get 300 plus 2. It works. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Going backwards, I'm going to subtract 2. So I get 21. And then divide by 3. I think it should be 7. And 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 is 23. So that seems to work. All right, going to this next one. Again, I'm going to go to the 4 and the 3. And the first thing I look at is I think, oh, I got to subtract 1. When I see that the output is less than the input, I think subtraction and division. And when I look, well, negative, again, in negatives, I don't really want to do that one. Here's 0, though. And 0 minus 1 isn't going to be positive 1. So it's something else, and actually something that I'm going to add 1. So I'm going to try, remember I said getting smaller is division. Well, let's try this. 4 divided by 2 is 2 plus 1. And I know because the 0 plus 1 is 1, plus 1 is 3. That seems to work. I'm going to try it with this one. -20 divided by 2 is -10. -10 plus 1 is -9. So, yep, that seems to be my rule. So I'm going to divide x by 2 and then add 1. So I'm describing what the function machine, that machine is doing to my input to get my output. So if I do 1, divide that by 2, I get 1/2 plus 1 is going to be 1.5. And then if I do -10, divide that by 2, I get -5. -5 plus 1 is going to give me -4. All right, so going backwards here, now instead I had to add 1, so I'm going to subtract 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. And then I'm going to divide, or to undo division, I would multiply. Well, 3 times 2 is 6. Let's see if that works. So I take 6, I divide it by 2, and I get 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. Yep, that one works. Ooh, this one's hard. So I'm going to subtract negative. I'm going to subtract 1. So that gives me -3.5. And then I have to multiply that by 2. I think it's going to be -7. And let's try that. -7 divided by 2 is -3.5. -3.5 plus 1 is -2.5. So that's my rule, and it works. This last one, when she pushed the number 15, the machine displayed 9. So again, I'm thinking subtracting 6. When she entered 23, she got 17. So it does look, what's the machine doing? It is subtracting 6. And what would the machine display if she entered 77? Well, 77 minus 6 is 70. And 77 minus 6 equals 71.